Benzin, is that you?
Hey, Rabbi Wilhelm, how are you?
What are you doing, your morning jog?
Yes, I'm jogging. I'm jogging to shul. How
Yeah,
are you today? What's
Baruch
going
Hashem. Baruch Hashem. Rain is a sim bracha.
Gishmei bracha, Gishmei bracha.
Yeah, how long are we going to stand out in the rain?
I thought that, I'm really shocked. I thought that for sure by now you'd melt. But I see that you're not made out of sugar.
Baruch Hashem. Okay.
But I do have something I wanted to share with you, actually. I had in mind to share with you.
Yeah.
Last week I heard a really interesting shir from Shir Zalman Ashkenazi. And he mentioned like this one little thing that kind of sparked an idea. He mentioned that, by Sphira, we're talking about Avos Yisrael and rectifying the whole episode with the Talmidim of Rabbi Akiva, and he said that Ahava, love, is Gematria Echad.
13.
13, so you have one love of one person to the other, and then the other person is loving them. So you have Echad, you have 13 plus 13, that makes up 26. That's the name of the Eibishter. So that's really nice when there's reciprocal love. So the Eibishter dwells over there. So that's we're going to put on the back burner. And on the another story I heard from Rabbi Vashetsky many years ago regarding in the Siddur you have the Eibishter's name a lot of times the Yud and another Yud. So his shuttle, very famous probably, you heard it, that you have one Yud and another Yud together. So then you have the Eibishter's name. So if we're contrasting both of them together, something interesting an interesting idea could be derived, that when you have reciprocal love, so then you have 26. But over here, with a Yud and a Yud, it's 20 only. So 20, 26, the name of the Eibishter, and 20 is not the same. There's a difference of 6. So what's that 6? That 6 is Vav, it says in Chassidus and Kabbalah also that it's symbolic of Hamshacha. So what if there's no Hamshacha? What if there's no connection? What if there's no love between the Jews? The two people, whatever it might be. So even if there's no love between one or the other, and they're there together, side by side, they're spending time with each other, even in that schus, the Eibishter is also over there. And then maybe we could say that eventually the Eibishter makes them have love also. Yeah, what do you think of that idea?
Great.
You like it?
Yeah, now you want to switch places?
I'd love to.
Okay, so I'm about to melt from the rain here. So listen,
this week's Parsha, a few things here.
Parshas Emor. So I wanted to a few quick thoughts on Parshas Emor. Everybody knows Rashi right in the beginning says, why does it say Emor and V'amarta? So Rashi says, Lahazir Gedolim ala Ktanim, that there's a responsibility for the elders to teach the younger. So I actually saw a pshat, and I never thought about why to mitzvahs it says twice, Emor V'amarta. So one of the Chassidish Svarim says that when it comes to the neshamas, when it comes to the malachim get their instructions, they're done. They do it perfectly, but they're not mahalchim, right? And they have no challenges. And because they have no test, no nisyonis, they're able to do everything straight, but they don't grow. A yid and neshama, the minute there's an emor, the minute there's a commandment, Gadol mitzvah v'isa, mimisha eina mitzvah v'isa, there are obstacles, there are challenges, there are tests. So you have to be told a second time to be able to overcome those tests. By a malach, there's no challenge, there's no test. So you get it done, big deal. But for us, because we have the Zionis, it's given to us a second time, so we should be able to overcome the test that's sent our direction, and we're able to achieve even much higher than by the malachim. We are mahalchim. Point number one. The Rebbe says a beautiful thing. This concept of lahazir g'dolim al laktanim says by 3 mitzvahs, by the Isser of Tumas Kainim, by the Isser of Dam, and by the Isser of Shratzim. Says the Rebbe, that's a lesson in the Hazir Gedolim Alaktanim. How you're supposed to educate the children. Never underestimate your capabilities of training a young child. Says the Rebbe, Dam. Dam is something which the Gemara says that the Yidden at the time of Mitzrayim were Shtufim B'dam. Shtufim B'dam means that became part of them, part of their DNA. They had it and they loved it. And even something like that, says the Rebbe, you could train a kid to stop. Number one. Number two, shkatzim or ramashim, all these creepy crawling things. Says the Rebbe, the Gemara says that they are disgusting. So sometimes a person could say, listen, this student that I'm asked to teach, he's so down, he's so vergrept, let's give up. No. Even somebody who is so involved in the schmutziger things, even him you have to educate. And the third, from the other extreme, says the Rebbe, even in Yonim of Tumah, in Yonim of Tumah's Kainim, which makes no sense, it's all spiritual stuff. You might say, hey, it's way above these kids. It's not something that you have to teach them. Says the Rebbe, never give up on a child in all extremes, as no matter how far he's fallen or how delicate the thing you have to teach. Always be mazer gedolim alaktanim. Now, people don't realize that this is the significance of Sphira, where we count every. You can't get to number 650 without having number 13, number 19. Every time you count, a davar shebeminyan does not become batal, because every individual thing means something, and that's what Sphira is. That's why we count before Matan Torah, to give us the encouragement to say, listen, I'm important too. Rav Moshe Feinstein says the reason why you read Parshas Bamidbar before Shavuos is because to show you that you were counted. You are as important as like the big Rosh Yeshiva. And that's only with that motivation you're able to come to Matan Torah. I'm needed as much as the other person. And it's interesting to note that the counting that's in Parshas Bamidbar was done in Iyar. And Bamidbar, so from in history, the counting of Klal Yisrael was done then too. The last thing, there are two psukim, one in last week's Parsha and one of this week's Parsha, that give us a beautiful lesson. The beginning of this week's Parsha, the Torah says to the Kohanim, Amor al Kohanim, L'nefesh lo yitama ba'amov. It uses the word L'nefesh, to a soul, don't become impure. A Kohen should not become impure ba'amov. In last week's Parsha it says, V'seret l'nefesh lo yisitnu b'bsarchem. Also, don't make a cut to your nefesh. Don't make as a sign of mourning. Don't do that. But in both places, it says what you should not do to the nefesh. So it's talking to the spiritual part. Don't chop up your nefesh. Your soul, stay firm with your commitment to Yiddishkeit. And you know how you stay firm is what it says in this week's parsha. In Basi Lugani, it speaks about gecholim oimemos. There are two different types of coals. There are coals that are burning red, and you see the fire. And then there are coals that are covered over. They're not completely dead. They didn't die out, but they're being covered over. Those are called Yecholim Oimemos.
What did you say?
Those are called Yecholim Oimemos. Says the Chassidish Sefer, L'nefesh lo yitama. Don't make your soul tamei ba'amov, by covering the coal, by making it cold. Let the warmth of your soul penetrate. Every yid has that pintele yid, and don't chop any part of it. Set it l'nefesh le'sitnu b'sarchem, and let it burn, and let it shine. And remember, you're important. And with that commitment, you'll for sure be mekzoich to be mekabel the Torah b'simcha b'pnimis.
Beautiful.
Yeah.